Hello, welcome, and thanks for watching the Loot Route Guide series. The map of Chernarus is insanely big and can be really tough for new players to learn. This series is intended to help you new players learn where you've spawned and how to get around the map from there. In the last episode of the series, we spawned in the southern town of Electro, and then traveled west along the coast to Zelenogorsk, stopping at a lot of interesting towns, military bases, and even an island along the way. For this episode, we're going to pick up where we left off and then head north to the western evacuation point. Alright, let's check out Zelenogorsk. Zelenogorsk is a really cool town that sits in the middle of a valley, which makes it a sniper's paradise and quite dangerous to approach. Snipers have a really good view of the base in the town from the eastern hill, and they have a pretty decent view from the western hill. So you really have to approach with caution, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Zelenogorsk is made up of 3 different sections. You've got the train yard, which is a great place to find lumber for base building. You've got the military area, which of course is great for loot and for firefights. And then you've got the town itself, which has a lot of stuff that's worth looting. Now, in our last episode, we approached Zelenogorsk by following this road from Pavlovo. However, to avoid the potential sniper's line of sight, I'd recommend that you veer off the road and dip down into this empty creek bed in order to sneak into the military area unnoticed. If you stay crouched and you follow this creek bed and the power lines into the base, you have a solid chance of getting in without anybody spotting you. Enter through this gap and then hug the wall to avoid the line of sight from the eastern hill. Once you're in, I like to keep hugging this wall and then go into this garage to give myself a chance to scope out the entire base. From here you have some decent cover and the ability to scope out the camo jail, the barracks, the top of the fire station, the top of the industrial buildings, and even the eastern hill, all of which are really popular sniping spots. Zelenogorsk military base is a really cool place with a lot of PvP. A part of the DayZ lore says that it is where the final stand of the military resistance took place, which I thought was pretty cool. You're going to want to make sure that you loot the green dome building and all of these green shipping containers in the back over here. Then loot the camo jail building that does spawn loot again, the 4 military barracks, and the guard shack by the road. If you're really brave, you could even loot all the green watchtowers around the base. There is also a fire station over here, but if you've made it here already, you probably don't need anything from there. Okay, let's head to the main part of town. We're entering the main part of town now. These houses and the row houses up ahead are great for finding civilian ammo and guns, along with food and water. The blue medical building to our right has medical supplies like saline bags for regenning blood and medicine for that pesky cold that's been going around. Make a left here and go past this magazine stand to find the only well in town. Make a right at the road and follow that to one of the newer versions of the police station. Make a right around the police station, follow this road to the end, and then make a left. See that big tower up the hill? That is Green Mountain, and that's going to be our next stop. Now, it shouldn't be too hard for you to get there. Just aim towards the needle and run forward. Green Mountain doesn't have the most military loot, but it's still a cool place to check out. Forgive me, I'm not going to mark them, but I'm pretty sure you can see that there's 1 barracks, a camo jail building, and a guard shack, all of which spawn gear. Additionally, the tower itself spawns some gear on the lower level and up the ladder on the platform. Unfortunately, this is as high as you can go on the tower. While Green Mountain doesn't have that much loot, this is a really common place for modded servers to use as safe zones or trading outposts, whether they're the manned kind or the type that uses NPCs to exchange gear for money and vice versa. This is where you're going to find that type of area. Now we're going to make our way to a little military outpost called Sosnovy Pass. Make a left to follow the road northwest. Go left at this intersection by the barn. And then just keep following this road until you see a paved road or the tents to your right. There's really not a lot to say about this place. There's 2 tents and some zombies you can kill to get some ammo. It's really just a checkpoint on our way to Myshkino military base, which is our next stop. Head out the west side of the compound, going towards the far tree line. Once you get to it, follow the tree line left until you hop on a road. Following this windy road will take you right into the military compound, but I'd advise against just barreling in. We'll talk about that when we get there. Myshkino military used to be a PvP hotspot with insane amounts of zombies and snipers on both the eastern and western hills. Since they spread out the military tents across the map sometime around the drop of, I think, 0.61, it's a little less active, but you still do want to make sure you check the eastern hill, as it provides great cover and a great line of sight for potential snipers. So you can see here the Myshkino has 6 military tents, 3 shipping containers, and one of the camo netting buildings. Plus there's a ton of zombies to get ammo from, so there is a lot of gear to be found here. Next up, we're going to head north to a really cool location called Lopatino Castle. It's really easy to get to. Head out west, go past the pile of corpses, and hop on the train tracks and just follow them north. Just a little bit of background as we chug along. All of this, the train tracks we're following, the river we keep crossing, some of the towns and outposts nearby, and the castle we're headed towards have all been slowly added in as a part of the western expansion. It has been really cool to see this area grow as the game has developed. See that up there? That's where we're headed. Now you're going to want to head off the tracks to the right, cross the river, and then hike your way up the hill through the rock formations to get to the main entrance to this castle. This is the newest and largest castle in the entire map, so it's definitely worth checking out, even though it doesn't really spawn that much loot other than like knight's helmets, some seed packets, heat packs, maybe a Mosin or a shotgun. But just like Green Mountain, a lot of modded servers are using this location as a safe zone and a trading outpost, so you should definitely come check this out at some point or another. Our next and final stop is the Northwestern Evacuation Point. I'm going to take you there via the green and red hiking trails to give you a good sniping location to scope out the entire evac point, but you're going to have to pay close attention to get there from this route. Go back down to the train tracks and head north. At the end of the fencing you can see on your right, veer left and cross the river and go up the hill. Cross the train tracks and keep going up the hill. You'll see this subtle hiking trail and green markers on trees. You want to make a left and then follow this trail. The green trail will merge with this dirt road. You want to make a left and then follow that for a little bit. You'll see a hiking trail veer off to the right with a red marker, so veer off and follow that red trail. You'll see a small town up the hill there. There is a well in that town, so you can stop there if you need water. Keep looking for those red trail markers, you don't want to get lost. The trail will once again merge with a dirt road. To the right is that town I mentioned, so if you want to follow a road in there to get some water, this is how you do it. Then hop back on the dirt road and keep going west. You'll come to a paved road you need to cross. You could go left and follow the paved road to the evacuation point, but I'd advise against it. Crossing the road and following the hiking trail is a much safer way. When you start to see these log piles, you'll also see that the red trail diverges from the dirt road. Follow that trail up the hill to the overlook. This overlook gives you a great vantage point to overlook the entire area, including the cars down to the left and then the main area with the tents and the gas station. This evacuation point has 5 tents you can loot and a ton of cars that could spawn food and maybe some ammo. Just like Myshkino, this place is a little less traveled than it used to be, but I think it's still worth checking out. This is the infamous Northern Highway. You can follow it east to get back to the more populated portions of the map, like Novaya Petrovka, which is in between Tizzy and the Northwest Airfield, so you're definitely going to get a lot of traffic in that area. Alright, let's review where we've been. We picked up where we left off at the end of the 3rd loot route guide in Zelenogorsk. I'll put a link in the description and a card at the top right in case you want to watch that video. From Zelenogorsk, we traveled northeast to Green Mountain. We followed the road northwest to Sosnovy Pass. We went west to Mышkino military base. We followed the train tracks north to Lopatino Castle. And then we took the hiking trails west to the Western Evac Point. Well, that concludes the 4th installment in the Loot Route Guide series. I hope you all learned something, and if you did, I hope you'll subscribe to see more. You can also check me out on Twitch for live streams. I've been having an absolute blast doing that. and I'm going to use the footage from the most recent stream to make a video that'll show you a little bit of the Chimsy map, the brand new one that you might have heard about. It was a hell of a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to making that video. Anyways, that's it for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.